And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Move to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you.
Ready?
Move.
Up.
Move. Go.
Up. Hawkeye's here.
Hawkeye's here. Move it to spare.
Spare, get ready. Spare, get ready.
We ready?
Shooters down. Shooters down.
Are we good?
Shooters down.
Shooters down. Are we good to move?
Shooters down. We're good to move.
We're clear.
We're
Let's
clear.
move. Let's move.
We're clear.
Come on.
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we got to move to the bus. Move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay. Put the shoes down. Put the shoes.
Watch out.
Wait.
Hey, welcome to Behind Enemy Lines. Terry and Paul. Just so you know, I'm giving you a warning. I'm wound up today, so for you, my Christian, we got a lot of older Christian people, and I might swear tonight because I'm so effing pissed off about them, what they did to Trump, what they're doing to the country, the invasion into Chicago, and all the stuff. We got some really cool stuff. Paul's like backed up because, you know, I go out and do like the confrontations, but he's got to write the long stories, and he does research, and he's smart, and all this other bullshit. He's got to pull it, but it makes a good story, right? So I'm not making fun of it.
I don't
it
know.
Takes
I don't
time.
think.
And I go out there and I just start trouble. I've been doing that since like 8th grade, so that's easy for me.
You getting wound up and saying some crazy shit. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't think you have it in you today.
And so I am so pissed off, right? So for tonight's show, the first 30 minutes, we're going to talk about all this crazy stuff that's going on, right? They tried to assassinate Trump. We got my brother from another Sicilian mother, Pastor David Lowry, coming on. He's running for mayor of Chicago, so we're going to talk to him on the back end. But between now and then, Paul and I are going to go back and forth and talk about some of the crazy shit. It seems like it's been forever since we've been on the show together, between me traveling and...
Yeah, me traveling too.
So, you know, I said this for a while about this Joe Biden thing. I knew that scumbag was going to back out. They're going to use him as a martyr and all this other bullshit. But you know what? My old mama said this forever. Grandma, my Italian mama. And she said that they're going to try to kill him. She really did. I give my mom credit for
Trump
that.
or Biden or
Trump.
both?
No, they're trying to kill Biden with an overdose. They're like juicing him up. But they, you know, for the debate, they're like, hey, let's not give him as much so he screws this one up.
That's what I'm saying.
And as soon as it was over, they're all attacking him. You know what? They knew what was going to happen. They knew. They were all in sync.
You can only pump an 80-year-old full of amphetamine so long before his system. I
don't know how many of you like partied in the 80s or 90s, but you could only do so much coke for so long, let alone being 85 years old.
And I'm like, heart explodes.
Yeah, the guy's going to die. And it's kind of funny is that he wasn't prepared.
I'm sure it's just vitamin B, Terry.
Yeah, he's on stage. He's walking around. He's shitting in his pants. You don't know where he's going. All of a sudden, he's in there in the debate. All the other debates, he did good, right? He did, like, you know, when he had debates or he was on the national stage, he did pretty good.
You could tell there was a clear, and I don't know exact moments, you know, but there's a definite difference between 2020 Biden and like how he's been in office for the last 4
so
years.
he progressed. My aunt and my grandma had Alzheimer's, right? So that's a natural progression. It accelerates at the end. But in the last year or two, you'd see him walking around stage. You know, he's like a fucking retard. Sorry. And then all of a sudden, when he does these big national things, they juice him up, right? I mean, you see him, and then you see some of them, they don't juice him up, and you don't even know the people's names. So what they did is, I think they purposely on that debate, keep in mind, they moved that debate up, right?
Yeah.
They pretended, they're like, they wanted him to screw up to give them time to start transitioning to this Kamala Harris camel toe Harris. And what they did was they waited to the last minute. You know why? Because Gavin Newsom, JB,
Well, because they
BJ
failed
Pritzker,
taking out Trump.
so we're getting into that, right? So they wanted to wait so that she could be anointed as the first first female African president, right? So they wanted that. They actually wanted that, right? So they waited to the last minute
I hear
to make
there's
it
some
harder.
questionable motives for her to have reached the top of the California political mountain. Just rumors. I guess.
She had her tonsils removed at a young age, and so now they're going to anoint
By
her.
the way, she's Indian. Supposedly she's Indian. She's not even African American. Like
she's Indian and Jamaican.
Indian and Jamaican,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
like
Yeah, man.
she goes, tries to pass herself off as an African American. Before we get to the Trump thing, I think the biggest issue here is that, to me, is that the Democrat Party spent the last 4 years gaslighting the American public, and particularly their Democrat voter base, suggesting that this guy was running the country. And suggesting that he's with it, before the debate, he's like, oh, he's, there's people going on all these far left MSNBC, CNN channels, like he's so calculated in decision making. Every time we talk to him,
The guy shits in his pants. I swear to God, I bet you he shits in his pants.
And then the first minute they get after the failed assassination of President Trump, the first opportunity they get to get rid of Biden, when he has supposedly he had some sort of medical event in Vegas, and boom, next thing you know, he's not running. But this is another example of the Democrats, not allowing their voters to pick who the presidential candidate is.
Yeah,
and this was a coup. They talk about the Trump coup. This was a coup. He got sick or something, and they that letter came out, and that the signatures don't match. That recording was all funky.
So yes, I saw the signature doesn't match. But here's what I think: this was all planned, right? It was all planned. Did you guys not notice? So because I bounce around from Fox, which is kind of a joke, Newsmax, to MSNBC and CNN. At the minute after the debate was over, they all had the same talking points.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden, after this debate, of which his medicine didn't kick in right away, even when it did kick in, it wasn't normal compared to other times, right? So Sleepy Joe was like he was in some of those cases where he walked around shitting his pants on the stage like...
And Joe was
like,
in North Carolina going, Joe, you did such a good job, Joe.
So isn't it kind of crazy? As soon as the debate was over, everyone's like, from the left, the media, Main Street, oh, wow, he's messed up.
Yeah,
they know more than what we knew. They all know the guy's been shitting his pants for years. They all know that he don't know. They know more than what they released to us in the media.
It's a joke. I agree with you. To watch the after analysis of that and to suggest that you're surprised, like, oh, we really thought he was going to come out there and give the 1-2 to Trump. Like, we've been watching him on the world stage, wandering into, waving at people that aren't there, trying to shake hands with people that aren't there, and hey, I'm open for any suggestions. It could all be an act, but certainly one thing is true, that this guy is not running the country, and that's the biggest issue that I have is
Obama is
he's
running the country.
definitely not running the country. I mean, I think it's just the national security state, the administrative state, and I think they've always been pulling the strings on presidents because they have dirt on everybody. Yeah. They have more power than they should have. But the idea
I agree with that as well.
The idea that this guy's been running the country is just ridiculous. And we all have known it.
I think some aspects of other presidents that are coherent, their strings are being pulled.
100%.
But this guy did nothing, man.
No way.
This guy's an effing retard.
No.
He did nothing. And I swear to God, I know I'm joking, I'm being sarcastic. I swear to God, I bet you this guy shit his pants a number of times in the last year. I swear to God. Because you can't walk around and like not know you're waving
stiff.
in the air and
He's
stuff.
Real stiff all
I had
the
my grandma, my aunt had Alzheimer's, and I'm telling you, my grandma raised me. My grandma from Italy raised me, and it was awful. She would look at, she'd be.
It's
I
not
don't want
fun
to get it, but I'm telling you, that guy was as bad as my grandma, and I had to take care of my grandma at the end, and
it's sad to watch.
My family and other family members.
A lot of people, you see a lot of that. Like a lot of people who, I think like aren't as political are like, this is sad. Don't like put this guy away. Like,
I'm not sad. He's a piece of shit.
I think
man.
he's a scumbag.
Yeah,
He's been in
him and his kid and what
40 years
the
in-
stuff that
in
they did to our
DC.
country.
Yeah.
Everyone knows about Russia, China. Screw him.
Yeah.
Let him walk around in his diapers and
Yeah.
look like an asshole
Yeah,
because he
yeah.
deserves it, and his son deserves to be in prison. Here's what's going to happen. So, what? So Obama got what he wants, right? Camel Toe Harris, she's going to be the anointed one. Joe Biden is going to step down before his presidency so that she slips in. She
Or
will be
die.
the first American, African American female president, right? So they'll get that for whatever time, and hopefully Trump is going to win. Joe Biden, I posted something today on TikTok or Twitter. He, during the press conference, he's not going to pardon his son. He's going to pardon his son for all the
sure.
federal crimes.
For
They're
sure.
a lying scumbag. Watch, he's going to pardon his son.
Absolutely.
I would pardon my son, right? I mean, wouldn't you do
He's
that?
got to.
Wouldn't you?
But Terry,
So
he's got
honestly,
to because
not
all of
saying
those
it's the-
cases are going to tie
If
to
it's,
him.
I'm not saying it's the right, but wouldn't you do that for your son?
Well, yeah, but also all those cases that would, if he doesn't
they'll
pardon
him
him,
in like perpetuity or whatever the bullshit. they call it.
exactly, and all those
But
cases.
honestly, would you do that to help your son before you quit in his circumstance? Come on.
I mean,
Oh, yes, he's running for office. Maybe forget it. I'll
Yeah,
answer.
I don't want to answer
I
that
didn't
one.
do it for
Yeah.
Anthony.
Yeah.
I would do it for my son Anthony.
and
I'm telling you right now, Biden's going to do it.
I don't think he cares about his son. To be honest, these people care about one thing
He
themselves.
did care about his daughter because I heard she was hot in the shower.
That's that's a legit. There's evidence of some. We won't go there, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think he will pardon his son at some point. I agree with you because all that evidence of money laundering and shell companies and him, get 10% for the big guy when he was with Burisma and he was
Yeah.
working with CEFC, that Chinese energy company. Like all of that information is tying back to him and then to those documents that he wasn't supposed to have all over Chinatown and everywhere else. Like I don't know what happens with all that evidence if they can open different cases, but certainly those cases that they're building against Hunter Biden are going to connect to Joe Biden.
Yeah. So he's going to pardon him and take it off the shelf. And then,
Yeah.
And here's another thing, right? And I said that I posted this on Facebook, right? So they're going to make Biden into the martyr. Oh, Joe did the right thing
He
for
said
the
something.
country.
That's what it what was
I'm
his statement.
I'm sacrificing.
That's what he said.
So look on my Facebook post.
That's what
I
he
don't know if you
said.
saw it. I said this. I've been saying this for a while. So, I'm doing the right thing for the country. You know what? They want to distract
gonna
from
look
that
it up
piece
right
of
now.
crap, from the things that he's done to America, and they're trying to pivot away from it. And all the left and all the media and these stupid scumbags from Hollywood are going to say, they're going to come back and say, oh yeah, Joe did the right thing. He sacrificed. He could have beat Trump. Joe knew he could have beat Trump, but he wants to pass the baton to the younger generation. He's a lying piece of shit. He's been a liar since 1988 when he ran for the first time for president. He got
Oh
caught,
my God, he got caught
he lied about
plagiarizing
his
like
college
multiple
degree.
times.
The guy was with the Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard.
Yeah.
Right? And they talk about our side being racist.
Yeah,
it's the left that's racist.
According to Joe Biden, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. You dog-faced pony soldier. What else? He called the African American journalist a crackhead.
I say if you vote for Camel Toe Harris, you're not American. Right? If you
Well,
vote for
nobody-
her, you're not American.
I mean-
either you're an American or you're a Democrat. You can't be both. Either you're an American or you're a Democrat in this day and age. And these Democrats are not Americans. Yes, they're technically Americans, but all their beliefs, their Marxist communist beliefs. Look what happened in Washington, right? I had so many friends that went to prison, federal prison, for what happened in January 6th. People that did not fight with the police. We had people that walked in, did nothing when the Capitol was open. These scumbags tore down our flag, burned our flag, put up the Hamas flag. So what do you want to talk about all this bullshit? Look what happened in 2020. You guys, we got to get strong and tough, and we got to fight back. We got to get rid of these Illinois GOP scumbags. Let's pivot into the fucking local stuff. We got to get rid of people that represent us and stand up for us and defend us. We're part of DGTRO, and I know a lot of those scumbags are watching us. You know what? When they found out I went to January 6th, which I'm still here, I never got arrested. I didn't do anything wrong. A lot of people didn't do anything wrong. They were calling me a right-wing radical extremist. I wore T-shirts when my kids were being forced masked. All of our kids. I wore F your mask. You know what? What happened? They found out that they didn't need to be masked. I had right-wing, not extreme. I'm an extremist, right? I guess. We had right-wing establishment rhinos saying I'm an extremist defending my children.
He's being facetious.
But these scumbags wouldn't sit next to me. They don't support
That's
our
gonna
school
get
board
clipped.
parents.
Yeah, I mean, just to close the loop on the Trump thing real quick, to what you're saying, I mean, I think the Democrat Party is just committing suicide right now. I mean, everything they stand for is anti-freedom, it's anti-family, it's, communist principles. The Trump derangement syndrome has, they followed that rabbit hole down into suicidal, tendency for their party because everything, like, by any means necessary, including, trying to assassinate the president. And one point, and I won't even get into all the, conspiracy theories online, but one point makes total sense to me in that when you spend, the last 10 years suggesting that Hitler ran for president, was president, and tried to insurrect which was bullshit.
So wait a minute. The only Hitler I know is Jack Novak from DGTRO.
If you spend the last 10 years shoving that propaganda down everybody's throats, your party's going to become more radicalized and further to the left end of the spectrum. But B, the crazies are going to come out of the woodwork and maybe try something crazy. And sure enough, that's what happened. And I blame the media. I blame the media for not for just that, but for where we're at in society today, because, they've spent the last 10 years propagandizing everybody and suggesting that this guy is an existential threat to the democracy, which is just crazy.
What time is it right now?
It's
okay, we're gonna do a commercial. Sorry about the lack of professionalism. Southside Johnny.
This is professional. What are you talking about?
So we're gonna do a couple commercials. So listen, before we do our commercial, you got the My Pillow thing up there. You can put it. I mean, that means you don't have it ready. Listen, you guys gotta buy some effing pillows, all right? Oh, there you go. We made $1.95, $3.80, all right? So we need some help here. All right?
I've got a pillow. I got 2 pillows from him that I've had for like 5 years.
Pillows, all right? Pillows.
He's got slippers too.
Yeah.
Egyptian cotton sheets.
I have.
Oh, is this on right now? Let me get the battery.
I have the My Pillow robe, and it's the best robe I've ever had. It's heavy terry cloth, and
I like the
super
pillows,
warm.
man.
Too warm for.
I bought the
summer,
pillows
but
before I knew who the hell he
winter.
was, or before any of the political stuff, and I still have them. And they're
I'm gonna get
my
another
best
grape
pillows.
drink. I'll be right back. You need anything?
No, I'm gonna play the IFA commercial. Do you want to play the pasture?
No, go ahead. Go ahead and play the IFA commercial.
We will not bend, we will not break, we will not yield. We will never give in, we will never give up, and we will never back down. We will never, ever surrender. Because we are Americans, and our hearts bleed red, white, and blue.
Terry's having an episode right now. It might be the cancer kicking back in. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on here. I'm a little worried. But, oh, there he is. He's alive. He's alive. Jesus, I mean, I thought he just had a heart attack right in front of me. God damn.
No, I'm all
It's
wound
okay.
up.
He's alive. President Trump's alive. Biden's probably dead. That might be a robot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So listen, we got a few minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
We
We wanna
got
touch on some local stuff.
Pastor Dave, my Sicilian friend. So we got him in the wings here, but
you know, you
really,
hot to-ed all over my computer.
I know. I
here.
sneezed and kind of laughed with Dave, and I spit on my buddy's computer. His way, not my way. I'm so sorry. So anyway, we want to talk
It's
about a
very
couple
professional.
local things, right? Before David comes on, and we're going to talk about all kinds of good stuff.
Well, the Illinois GOP seems to be
Yeah, we're
still
dysfunctional.
in free fall.
So I want to talk first about Mayor Barnett from Downers Grove. That guy's a piece of crap, right? So he's supposed to be a Republican. He put my friend Bill Nieberg under the bus at Downers Grove Library with all those scumbag radicals. They put Bill as the only Republican conservative. Then they put another radical leftist on the board after him. They threw him out because he stood up against porn, drag queens.
queen.
And David was going to talk about that shit. He's
Bingo.
like a big supporter against them. I mean, probably more so than me. Dave goes, those homosexuals. I love that. And again, we're not against gay people.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, Terry.
Yeah, we're
Like the
against
Seinfeld
pushing this stuff
episode.
on our children. You want to be gay, you want to do stuff and whatever, but don't tell our kids they have to do it. 2 years old. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's 2-year-olds at Downers Grove.
I have my wife's best friends are lesbians with 3 children.
And they're
so
hot too, right?
I'm not. I've never noticed.
The hot ones are okay. It's like,
I've only noticed how wonderful.
I saw her. She's kind of hot.
Of mothers they are. I don't know what you're
I
talking
didn't
about.
even know about that. So anyway, back to the topic here. So Mayor
Beautiful
Barnett,
family.
Mayor Barnett,
Beautiful
and some of you
family.
Downers
Beautiful.
Grove, we know the liberals are watching. You guys are scumbags, right? You turned Downers Grove into San Francisco, the Midwest. Mayor Barnett, you're supposed to be a Republican. You're a lying piece of shit, right? You're a liar. All you did was, you pivoted from being a Republican back when the area was more Republican, right? Then when it started turning blue, you pretended you were a Republican, but you started sucking their asses and betraying the whole city and the whole community. You don't speak up against drag queens, the porn, the transvestite Santa Claus, the transvestite in Downers Grove Library, pushing pride books on 2-year-old kids, all this stuff. You're not a Republican. You're not even a man. You're a piece of crap, all right? And then the other thing, what's her name? Fuckett from, what's her name? She's what is it? DuPage County what? Fugit, her name's Fugit.
That's Downers Grove.
Downers Grove, yeah.
Village
Fugit or
Council.
something like that. I never used the C word on this show, ever. I might swear here and there. I never, ever use the C word. I never use the C word to define that woman. You know what? Not because she might not be deserving of being that, because I respect my audience more than that, right? I respect them. I would never use it. So what I hear, her
What, the
husband
C
is
word?
her husband's, sorry.
What C word? What do you mean? Communist?
Yeah,
Is that what you
yeah.
said? She's a communist? Yeah. Oh, should I not
I
have said
never
that?
use that word to define her, but I'm not saying she shouldn't be defined at that in private.
I think she's a communist.
I heard that her husband is saying this. You know what? And he's going to confront me. I want you to confront me. You know why? Because I'll make you pee in your pants and send you back to your wife, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. So yeah, keep telling people not in front of me and behind my back that you're going to confront me. I will love for you to confront me, and I hope your wife has good medical insurance for you.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Anything else you want to say? I told you guys I was wound up, and I'm all excited about. Should we bring David on?
I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about.
All right.
I don't know if I'm ever going to have a political career. How much longer I'm going to have to be. I can sit next to you. I just, you know what I would say? I would say that there's some radical stuff that they're doing. I mean, drag queen bingo for
Transvestite
for
Santa
kids,
Claus at the church.
Transvestite Santa Claus at the church. What they did to Bill Nienberg and kicking him off of the library board for no other reason that we can tell, and this is based on their comments at the village council meeting, other than he doesn't provide consensus, and they disagree with him. So I mean, it's anti-democratic. It's anti the principles of the U.S. Constitution, and because they speak in measured tones and talk about decorum and things like this, then supposedly that justifies their position. But what they did was completely anti-democratic, and there was no due process.
So before we bring Dave on, I got one more question for you. Do you know Fugit's husband's name?
I don't even know who you're talking about.
So listen, Fugit, if you're watching, you weasel, I bet you I could make you cry and pee in your pants before I even touch you. Swear to God.
I think that was sexual harassment right there. Okay.
All right, let's bring Pastor David on. I'm sorry. I hope he can't hear this stuff. He's a pastor. Hey, Pastor Lowry, good to see you,
What's going on,
man.
brother? How you doing?
How you doing?
Man, I'm
Hey, you're
sitting back
becoming
here
a
loving
regular.
the show, man.
I
I'm
love
loving
this
the
guy.
show because you're saying a lot of things that I want to say on my show, but I've been sort of contained as a pastor, but I'm from the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I say what I have to say when I say it, and say it the way that I want to say it, because that's what I'm allowed to do in this country.
Yes.
But,
Damn
but
right.
let me say this, man, to my brother over there. You're doing some wonderful things, and I have to take my hat off to you, Terry, because a lot of parents put their head in the sand and allow the Democrats and those rhinos to attack our children, and they had no way to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And so for you to sound the alarm all over the world now and got more people involved and more parents aware of what's going on, and you definitely, I'm on your team. Whatever we're going to do, we're going to do. We're going to bust some heads. We're going to bust some heads. That's just the way we're going to roll. But we all doing this work for God. People watching this show, Terry might be talking, but he's a man of God for real, because so many of us now are afraid to test the system. The system has created a mindset to where if you go against it, then you could be jailed. And let me tell you, brother, I was supposed to be at January 6th too. I was sick. I had a gastritis attack, man, and couldn't make it there, man, but I would have been there too. And I know they would have had the pastor in the suit with the jumping.
No, you're right. I'm glad you bring that up, Pastor Lowry. It really is. And, people can deny this all they want, but anybody who sits there and pretends like we're not in unique times, right? I mean, like, the world's on fire, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And one of the things that irritates me about, and kudos to you, Terry, and you, Pastor Lowry, your generation, though, is they're in the old paradigm, the old legacy media paradigm where, they trust everything they're told. And it's like, that era is over. That world you lived in is gone. You can't trust the government. Mm-hmm. You can't trust the government. You can't trust it at the federal level. You can't trust it at the state level, and you can't even trust it at the local level. And that's just a hard truth. So, people have to fight back on an individual level.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, David, sorry to interrupt you. Why don't you, because I didn't introduce you, right? Talk about, who you were a Democrat like me. You were more of a Democrat like me, right? And the things you did in NAACP chapter. Talk about where you are now. Talk about the Heritage Foundation, that other organization, Ben Bergquam that we're working with, and then the mayor of Chicago.
I grew up on a real plantation. I'm the son of a sharecropper. I picked and chopped cotton from 5 years old to 8 years old, where we migrated to the city of Chicago, got involved with politics. My godgrandmother was big into politics, and she started teaching all of us on the block about politics. She created the block club and all of that. And, they were Democrats, but they were conservative Democrats. They believed in what the Republicans believed in. They just liked the fact that the Democrats was getting all these programs to help Black people at the time that was being used for them to move forward. But since that time, the Democratic Party has moved into a different direction. There's no more conservative Democrats. There's either you're going to be a Democrat or Republican. And I think that's where they got lost at, because everybody that's a Democrat doesn't care or believe in some of the things that the national Democrats are doing. You know, it's a lot of people.
They abandoned the working class, right? That they
Right,
used to be
right.
for the working man.
But not anymore.
No.
So they sort of, when the Democrats really came back out, when a lot of the old leaders died and a lot of the young leaders, you know, relatives took their place, they didn't have the moxie nor the integrity or honesty that the old Democrats had, and they became corrupt. And so you're seeing the corruptness of the Democratic Party because it's at its end of the road. You know, after Barack Obama came and threw the homosexual stuff in, that was the end of the Democratic Party right there. It really was. And then, you know, they had to start being strategic, because that's when they allowed them to get into the schools. They got them in the Army positions, and they put them in positions to where that they could make it seem like that they had a lot of power. And at that particular time, under the Democratic leadership, they did. Because look at under Donald Trump. We didn't have none of this stuff, no wars. We didn't have these problems. And a lot of Black people want to say, well, and this is, man, I had a time on my show today, because I'm saying this to Black people. It's time for Black people to stop being ignorant. And it's time for us to stop sitting around waiting for somebody to save us. See, on my show today, I talked about how Black people have income that we spend more money than all the races put together, and we never own nothing. See, I can't blame white America, because the opportunities that America do present itself to, that we can cash in on them and do the right thing and invest into our own communities and quit waiting for somebody to come and give us handouts. That's the biggest problem, is the mindset of Black people, man.
Hey, David, I want to clarify what you say, right, about the spend that you have for your community. You guys, it's 14% of the population, but tell me if I'm wrong, right? You guys spend so much money, and you don't buy assets and homes and property, right? So you spend all your money on other stuff instead of building your
stuff.
Right.
Gym shoes and elaborate cars and houses. How would you think about this?
Yeah.
And I said it tonight on my show. I can't blame white America for not jumping on a ship that's sinking. See, God takes care of the children that has his own. And if Black people would show the world that we don't need to be taken care of, and we reinvested into ourselves, into our community, and built our own communities up, ain't nobody gonna put no money in us when they can see the money is not gonna go to any good or making any difference in the community. That's a waste. So I understand where white society pushed away and said, hey, you know what? If they won't fight for their own rights, if they won't fight to stop the crime in their community, if they won't fight for their own education, but they don't own nothing, but they spend more money than everybody else, that would make us bad stewards of our own self-interest.
But, you know, I totally agree with everything you're saying, but I would point the finger more at the Democrats and the leftist policies of the welfare state, and the paternalism that they push for the government, because this idea back in LBJ's time, when the Civil Rights Act was passed, that we're gonna expand the welfare state further from what it was created with FDR, and you're going to get the Black vote. It destroyed the Black communities, and they knew it didn't. They didn't care about Black people. They knew that it was an opportunity to grow the government. They don't even care about they grow the government, and they could get the Black vote, but they destroyed communities, because if you do that, if you do those policies, there's no incentive to work or have businesses in your communities and things of that nature.
So I want to say something that David totally got my attention. I never heard anyone say this before. We were with Ben Berquam and other people from his community talking about reparations and stuff. And then David got up to the mic and said, we need reparations from the Democrats. And they,
But think about
they
it.
did
Think about this,
slavery. They
folks.
did Jim Crow. They did everything that you
Yeah.
just said. And I'm like,
Yeah.
holy
Everything.
shit, he's
And
right.
see, this is why I'm against the critical race theory, because as an American, we need to know and we need to teach our children about all the attributes and all the dysfunctions that America had. That's what made it great, okay? We've grown from that place. But when I started to do research as a young man, and I was aware because my parents taught us about the old days, and we sat around and listened about how Black Wall Street was. My parents taught us that, and they told us. But when I got older and I grown after being the president of the NAACP2, the National Association of Colored People, I was the president and the crisis director for the National Action Network when Johnny Cochran was part of the National Action Network with Al Sharpton, man. You know, I've been some around the great Democratic leaders that you could ever imagine. And it was a bunch of bullshit because they didn't care about the people. They cared about making money and controlling the masses of the people.
Pastor Lowry, let me ask you a question on that point real quick. It's a real quick question. What is your perspective on guys like Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, those kind of guys? I mean, from my perspective, it's kind of they sold out their own, but I mean, I don't want to.
No. See, this is what I'm saying. In America, we need to have an honest talk. We need to be honest with each other, and we need to call a spade a spade.
Hey, that's racist, man.
And listen now, Jesse Jackson, and Al Sharpton are race baiters.
Yes, they are.
After Dr. King was assassinated, and a lot of people say Jesse had something to do with it. If you look at the tapes, FBI recording tapes, you'll hear Dr. King saying before he was shot that you have to watch Jesse Jackson because he's an opportunist and he really doesn't care about Black people.
I didn't know about that.
I didn't either.
Oh, see, this is why I say history it's all out there, but if you don't seek it, you won't know it. And so that night before, then after that, he was killed. So let's come back to all the things that we have seen over 60 years since Dr. King and Malcolm has been dead. We saw Jesse Jackson and we saw Al Sharpton. All the police killings, you never heard nothing about Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton changing any laws like the Asians got a law change. Remember when they got killed like that and they came up with an Asian crime bill, a hate bill in 48 hours. But listen, you don't see even right to this day, you don't see Jesse Jackson or you see Al Sharpton talking about it's wrong for the Democratic Party to be filtering the community, the Black community, with illegals. You don't see them crying out about that because they're part of the problem. You don't hear Barack Obama telling Black people while he behind the scenes telling the teachers that children should be transformed to something that God didn't make them. Mm-hmm. You don't hear Barack Obama talking about the illegals in the Black community and all the money and the 385,000 migrant children that disappeared on a private plane that Barack and Bill Clinton and George Bush chartered for children. See, you don't hear about those Black leaders saying nothing because they're part of the problem. And that's why Black America is in this condition, because everybody is waiting for the great next Dr. King or the next Malcolm. Black people.
I'll tell you what, after all this assassination hubbub, I think one thing I would say is look at those guys in a different light, because it's clear to me now that the government was behind all of these assassinations.
All of it.
If you look at the MLK thing in particular, that guy, James Earl Ray, he was a total patsy. They're like, just look into some of the RFK assassination. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. There's no the government was behind, and I hear the same thing about Malcolm X. So
and
clearly they got a message people wanted to hear.
But the thing is these guys, the Urban League, the NAACP, National Action Network, Urban League, and all of these Black organizations are not caring about Black people, because if they did, they will be standing up fighting for them and fighting for their communities, opposed to just making money off them. And so when I figured all that out myself, I figured it's time for me to come on off the mindset of the plantation and really take a look at the Democratic Party. And when I did the research, I found out that it was the Democratic Party who wanted slavery to go to the North. And it was the abolitionists who became the Republicans under Frederick Douglass, a Black man who helped Black people get their lives in order to start businesses and create their own wealth, and the Black Wall Street. But that was too much for the Democrats because they was making too much money. So they created the Ku Klux Klan.
They did.
And Jim Crow.
and then they bombed Black Wall Street. And see, listen to the show. If I learned this in high school, this was taught to me in high school. And so when they bombed Black Wall Street, it was the KKK, the Democrat Party created them. Just like today, the Democratic Party has created Antifa.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter.
Well,
I mean, they
true?
continue. It continues. And so who else? I would say a definitive cause of action, a definitive person who have caused the Black community to be in this condition is the Democratic Party. And that's who Black people should be suing. We should be suing them in the world court. And I think that when we get together, well, you know, when I become the mayor of Chicago, a lot of things are going to change.
Hey, what is my
Nice
position going to be? I'm going to be in charge of ex-offenders.
you know, let me tell you something. And I love it too, man, because we are a country of second chances.
Yep.
Now, when we get those second chances, you can either make good on it or you can be an asshole and make bad on it, okay? But we still gonna love you and we still gonna give you the chance. I love it, the fact that President Trump went through what he did, because he's been exonerated and he should be. But I've been telling people, God is using him as an instrument of war.
I believe that too.
And see, you can't kill something. I don't care what it is. Listen to me, to the American people and patriots across this country. If you look at it through the carnal eye, Donald Trump should be dead today.
Damn right.
And I'm telling you why I know that God is using him as an instrument of war, because I was shot in the heart with a .357 right here, and I died. My heart was nicked, my lung was exploded, ribs broke, all of that. Wow. I died, went to be with the Lord, and he brought me back. And in 3 days, I walked out the hospital totally healed, with no surgeries, no heart replaced, lung replaced. In 3 days, on the third day, I got up and walked out the hospital.
Wow.
So I know my relationship with God tells me that when a man is supposed to die, that man want him to die, and God say, no, because I'm anointing him. God anointed Trump to stand between us and the evil that we're seeing today, folks. Because if it wasn't for Donald Trump, they would have already changed the laws that they wanted to change. And the American people, we would be in turmoil because they opened the borders and now they got an army over here that's going to fight us.
So, David, I want to give you some updates. So, Paul's got a backlog of lots of stories that are coming out. So, I went to the Standard Club. I went to the Standard Club. I don't know if I told you, I got 706 police reports for 12 months. That's 2 a day. Standard Club. I just got this because I haven't talked to you in a few days. I ran, so this is like breaking news, right? Ben and Kari, they're going to do a story on this. Yesterday, I put in a request for a FOIA of all the immigrant arrests in the city of Chicago starting in 2021. So they listed them by country, Dave. So we'll go with Venezuela because that's the number one here, right, in Chicago. So 2021, there was 6 Venezuelans that arrested. 2022, there was 26 Venezuelans arrested. 2023, there was 1,030 Venezuelans arrested. 6 months into 2024, there was 1,730 Venezuelans arrested. That means there's going to be 3,500 for the calendar year. From 6 to 3,500, David. Is that crazy? 6 to
And you know what?
3,500.
And see what you're doing too, man. And I keep telling you, Ben, David, Zier, myself, all of us, your co-hosts, all of us are being used by God. And I have to tell people, Donald Trump would have been dead if God had not made it sure that he would live. Because when he get into office, it's going to be a house cleaning. It's going to be a house cleaning. And he's going to restore this country back, and we're going to get back to God, and then we're going to know how to avoid the problems that we saw with Joe Biden and Barack Obama and them, because they are agents of hell, man.
They are.
It is no way under God's earth that I would want somebody else's child to become something that they're not, man. And that's pure evil.
I heard him talking at a rally recently, and he was saying, he's like, day one, we're going to defund any educational institution that pushes critical race theory, that pushes, gender ideology, all this stuff. It's amazing what the power of the purse will do. And people think it's so hard to like change some of this stuff. It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
There's top-down directives, and all of a sudden things change.
Let me say this to your listeners, people watching the show tonight. And I want to tell the voters, do not get caught up with the narrative of Kamala Harris.
Wait, hold on a minute. I call her Camel Toe Harris.
Okay, well, I call her knee pads, okay? Kamala knee pad Harris.
Yeah.
I want the American people and patriots across this country, especially Christians. We need to stay focused on the race for President Trump. And we have to stay focused because they are wounded badly right now. And they're sort of splintered.
Yeah.
But they're going to do anything to cheat. They might even try to start another war because, they do have a hidden
trying to do that.
now.
They're already trying to do that.
And so we have to stay focused, but we also have to be vigilant and make sure that we stand on what we stand on and don't take no crap, because if we do and they see one sign of weakness, the Democrats will come for us and they will cheat us out of another election. And that's going to cause a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, my argument for Trump is pretty simple. People get caught up in the politics. It's anti-establishment. It's like, listen, look at what's gone on over the last 60, 70 years and how many stories there are about the government, exploiting the people, whether it be the CIA, the FBI, the FDA, and then COVID happened. It's like, for these leftists that argue that, well, you can't have somebody as unhinged as Trump. We have to trust our institutions. I'm sorry. You need to wake up. It's too late for that. You cannot trust our institutions. They've proven that. There's no, sweeping that under the rug. That's over.
But what's the sad thing of it is, it's like this for Black people. And I have to say this about my people and be honest and true. See, Camilla knee pad Harris is not Black.
No.
She has never been Black. She never wanted to be Black, but she wants to be Black now because she needs to stop the vote.
Opportunistic.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question, and this ought to make you think. And our Black people, quit being so damn emotional. Just because she Black don't mean that she like Black people.
Yeah.
Because if you look at her track record as a prosecutor
Not good.
in LA, over 2,000 Black men that she put in jail and overcharged them, and they never should have been put in jail, and they all got exonerated when the next DA got in, and then exonerated them and paid them money.
Yeah, she was bad. Like Tulsi Gabbard.
Two Black men went to the death penalty.
Yeah.
Withheld evidence.
That's right. Yeah.
So I
got pointed that
I got to
out.
bring something up about the First Step Act that Donald Trump. That's very important to me, right? With my background. So since the Biden administration took it, because I don't know if I sent you this article yet, David, they are purposefully, I think, I don't know that for sure, but there's people, because of the First Step Act, that should have been out of federal prison already. Mm-hmm. They should have been in halfway houses, and they're dragging their feet.
Right.
And I'll let me tell you from experience, right? When you're in prison and you're supposed to have an out date, and you know what that out date is, and then every little day after that, every minute, and they they right? You're like, I mean, I'm telling you, these guys are being tortured, man.
Yeah, you know
because
why?
they don't give a shit because it was Donald Trump's
Exactly.
first.
Yes.
And they don't. If they really cared about their people, they would overlook the
It's
politics
punishment.
of Trump, and they don't care about him.
No,
they're
it's
letting
punishment.
them sit. I'm telling you, if
And
you,
it's like
you
the
thinking
J6ers.
about it, people, lock yourself in a bathroom, right? Lock yourself
Yeah.
in a bathroom
But-
and see what it's like, right, to spend a day in there. And these people are been stuck 6 months to a year after they should have been out of prison because of the
Yep.
First Step Act, but they're not letting them out because of Trump. I mean, I
So,
don't know why they're not doing it.
That's what I've been trying
That's
to tell.
why. That's why.
I've been. I was at the gym this morning, and I was talking to, and I'm trying to awaken the Black community up, the sleeping giant. And so I was at the gym this morning, and after I got through hitting the bag and doing my stuff, I went to lift weights, and the guy said, Pastor, he said, Camille is all we got left. And I looked at him and I said, what you say? Camille is all we got left. I said, your ass is ignorant. And he said, why you say that, Pastor? I said, because Camille done locked up all these black men. She don't like black men. She don't like the black family. She caters to the homosexuals. Her whole life has been about threesomes when she was with Montel Williams, the talk show host. She's a hoe. You know, and I broke it down to Jezebel. Well, I call it, I won't say the ho. I just say she was a Jezebel to be correct, politically correct. And I said, she's a Jezebel. And I said, now, just think she has been a loser the whole time with Joe Biden. And look at all the stuff that has happened. The borders, I said, and I explained to her everything. I said, so how can you let your emotions say that she's black when she don't claim to be black, only when she needs your vote? How can you say that you want this woman to be the president?
Hey, she does have a black husband, right?
No.
No, man, she married to nothing against the white folks.
She's married
but
to
she
a
married to a
goddamn
white
cracker.
man. You can't be sitting up here talking about how pro-black.
I know. I was being sarcastic. She's married to.
I know. Wait a minute.
She's married to a liberal peckerhead.
Here she goes. She goes.
Yeah.
Ooh wee! I know how to cook collard greens.
Yeah, right. She don't know how to cook
That's
nothing.
the same thing.
Cracked
That's the same
macaroni
thing
and
with Hillary
cheese.
Clinton and talking about every time I eat soul, I got me a bottle of hot sauce in my bag.
Hey, you know, I just love how those Democrat women, the squad, like and Kamala, they all say the most dangerous thing in this country is the white man. And Kamala's married to a white guy. Ilhan Omar's married to a white
Is she?
guy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
AOC's married to a white guy. It's like, oh, we're the devil, but you sure like to have him in your bed, don't
So,
you?
David, I want to talk about this.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? I want to say this about my brother Terry over there. Man, we was at the convention, man.
Yeah.
And we was at the convention, and it was just, man, I needed him the rest of the couple of days because, you know, we reached a lot of people. We did interviews all over the place, man. Terry is so well known throughout the media. I had an opportunity to speak a lot of places, and, you know, and I think, you know, I don't do things, and I want the people watching the show, if you saw the press conference that I did at the national convention, over
3 million viewers, right, bro?
3 million of them
Man,
saw
that's
it.
awesome.
You know,
That's awesome.
I don't do
That's
it
huge.
because I'm looking for the views. When I speak from my heart, and that's what God is telling me to say, you know, because we have to be honest with ourselves about our condition. And I think a lot of Black leaders have been paid off and they're doing stuff, but Terry has been beneficial as far as helping me to become, you know, this person that got those 3 million. It had been for Terry and hooking me up with Ben and David Zier and them, then I wouldn't have this platform at this level. So
tell them about the Heritage Foundation and all the other stuff that you're doing.
brother.
People don't know. Let them know.
And folks, let me tell you something. If you thought that Donald Trump was lying about the ballots and the polls, during the primary time, I was hired as a contractor for the Heritage Foundation out of Washington, D.C., to lead teams across the city of Chicago and examine the polls. We got our credentials and we popped in on the polls here in Chicago, and it was a damn shame. We found thumb drives, We found the printers, just like they said out there in Arizona. We found Black Democratic judges who was posing as Republican judges for the day. I saw with my own eyes and had to order a Democratic judge. She told the lady after she was about to put her ballot in the machine that the machine was broke down and that they would take her ballot card and reinsert it later. The lady contested her, and they tried to get strong with her and tell her, just give us the damn ballot. And I spoke up and told them who I was. And then all of a sudden, the machine started working again. So all of these things that President Trump is telling you is true. I witnessed it myself. I have the receipts. I have names. I have numbers. I have all the documentation. So anybody that hear this, if you think that I ain't on the real, come get me. And I'll definitely see you in court, because the polls they're cheating. Dead people are voting here in Illinois that's been dead for 100 years.
Hey, just
the
be
harvesting,
be
all
careful,
of it is
Pastor.
real. And
Be
they're cheating at the
careful.
polls.
You know, they're hiring 20-year-old nerds from, Ohio to get on top of roofs and shoot at presidents. So
No, he better not hope I see him up there, because I'm gonna bust a cap on his ass.
So I want to bring up Pilsen, which Dave really won my heart over there. When me and Ben caught these drug dealers, we saw there was a big, he posted it. We caught these drug dealers. It was on X. We had a couple million views.
Yeah.
And so you'll see the interaction between me and Ben, and then you see David, and he's talking about. I thought David was gone. I didn't even know he was there. I was like, oh fuck, there he is. Thank God. It's like, and so then we go over to talk to David while the Venezuelans were there. I mean, they got out and confronted us, and then Dave's like, "Don't worry, I got your back, brother." I was like, thank God.
Oh man, you know what?
I was like, I wish I would have known that. I would have been spitting on that bitch.
Man, but let me tell you this. I've been a conceal and carry person ever since I was young. In Iowa, I owned a business restaurant, and I've carried a weapon all my life. And I've been you have to think a different way. But when situations like that happen, man, you have to be ready.
We're lucky
and
he
you
was
have
there.
to be prepared. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna let that happen to you, man. Y'all know that. I was trying to tell y'all to get out the way. I'm coming out the window.
So I want to quickly pivot from the African American plantation to the Italian American plantation. And when I say this plantation, and it's not just Italian, it's the unions, right? So I mean, it started out the Italians were really heavily involved in the unions, and they still are to some extent. But like my mom, the Italian mother, and my friend Joe Martucci, the Teamster leader, he retired. They're Republicans now, but there's so many Italian Americans that are still, because of the union bullshit, they're bought in. Just like they talk about the state of the welfare state for African Americans. Well, it's the same welfare state for the unions and the Italian Americans, right? And they're like, oh yeah, I can't go. You know what? I when I presented to a bunch of Italian American Labor Council, and I'm like, listen, guys, it doesn't matter if you're in a union, if you're a doctor, you're a salesperson like me. If we don't have a country, what the hell good is your union? Who gives a shit about your union? You're working for your family, your children, and you're going to betray your family, your children for getting a little, so everyone wants to make as much money as possible, right? It's just like the entitlement stuff, right, David? That people want to, the African, they want to get their money and stuff, right? Well, the Italians want to, let's get raises, let's get contracts. Well, you know what? You're doing that at the demise of your children. You guys got to wake the F up, man. You got to stop this.
You know what?
Well, Terry, and there's one point here to make on that, and in Illinois particular, is that the private unions are coming around because what they did with this amendment was they positioned it as beneficial for labor unions when it really was just giving political power to the public unions. The public officials, the bureaucrats and the teachers unions and stuff like that. And so when they did that, they effectively made a fourth branch government, and now we have even more legislation and more policy that's driven out legitimate businesses. Yeah. Which, what does that do? That hurts the labor unions because they don't have as much work now.
Yeah. So what people don't understand, and David, you'll know this from Chicago, right? So like, say I'm running, I don't know, the government, the union that oversees the correctional officers, the teachers, or whatever, and Paul's the mayor of Chicago. And now because of Amendment 1, I'll go to Paul and say, hey, I want X, Y, and Z. And Paul will be like, well, I really don't want to do that. It's not politically good. It's not like financially the best thing to do for Chicago. And as a union member, I'm like, no, you're going to do it. Well, oh, no, I'm not. I'm like, you know what? Then we're going to effing strike now. We got Amendment 1. We're going to strike. Right. And people are too stupid to know that stuff's going to happen, right, David, behind closed doors in Chicago all the time.
Right.
Well, it has always been, Chicago has been a big union town, man. AFL-CIO, UAW, Teamsters.
Yeah.
It always has been. But I want to tell your listeners right quick, don't be fooled by Project 2025. Because, see, a lot of people got the misconception that the Democrats are putting out Project 25 is they're going to try to change this and change that. Let me tell you what it is that they're changing. See, before Project 2025, when the Democrats took over, when Joe got into office, they changed administrations. And when they changed the governmental administrations, they put in all the homosexuals and the transgenders into the different places within the government boundaries. And these were the people who have been calling shots and changing laws for the homosexuals and the transgenders throughout the country in the United States.
Yeah, like that guy Butlick that runs the transportation community.
Right. And, he's stealing money. And the guy that was walking around stealing luggage, who was the energy director, wearing lipstick and dresses in the airport, stealing luggage,
Yeah,
So
I remember the bald guy with the
2025 is because every administration that take over, they fire people and they put people in different agencies. That's the normal. That's been going on forever. And that's what I'm telling the people watching your show. That's the only thing that's happening again, is that when Donald Trump get into office, he is going to change and get rid of all the vehicles and the waste of spending money that the country has been doing. So he's going to turn back the hands of time, which it should have been that the marriage is still between a man and a woman.
Yeah.
These are the things that's in the 2025 that the LGBT, the alphabet group, raising hell about because they don't want it to be changed back to marriage between a man and a woman. LGBT stuff going to be taken out the schools. We're going to refund the police and make sure we got a good police state. All the things that our country and the detriment that we see in the country today will be rolled back. It even got the fact that when Donald Trump said, I'm going to deport all the illegal aliens. Well, they're saying that they shouldn't do that because they feel like the illegals should stay here and we keep taking care of them and not our citizens. So 2025 is only going to be an administrative change, and Donald Trump and the American people will take over these states and the government again and do what's right by the American people. So don't get fooled about the Democrats lying about, well, the Department of Education. I would get rid of the Department of Education
useless.
too.
Yeah. So David, we're about done with time right now. So why don't you tell the audience that you're running for mayor and why? Why should they vote for you, support you, and take this time to explain? I know we have a lot of time to get you, elected, and we're going to do our best to do so. But tell the people why you're running for mayor.
Well, one of the reasons why I'm running for mayor is because we need to get back to God, and we need to have God-fearing Christian men and women in the politics in order that some righteous things will be done. That's the first thing. Secondly, I'm a Chicagoan. I grew up in Inglewood when it was all white. I know Chicago when it was a beautiful city. When white folks lived good, black folks lived good, everybody had their own businesses, community was contained. I went to a public schools, Oliver Wendell Holmes Tilden Technical High School. My education is second to none. How could I graduate out of high school at 15 if the education system were no good? I'm just tired of watching the people of Chicago and black people suffering, man. It doesn't make sense. Every year, people, every 4 years when the mayor get in, they come, they lie, they get in the office, and the black community has begun to deteriorate to nothing. And as a man of God, I just can't take it no more. I can't take the crime. I can't take the ignorance of black people not owning their businesses and not spending their money and not getting into a situation to take care of themselves. it is only righteous that I do this because God is leading me to do it, not only be the mayor of Chicago, but be the mayor for all the people in the state. And that's why I'm running, man, to bring righteousness to Chicago and to the office. And we're going to get Chicago back on track. And the key thing to this is us understanding who we are, understanding the problem that we got, and then taking actions and then putting God back into our communities so that the city can survive and not be the new Sodom and Gomorrah, brother. That's why I'm running, because God is allowing me to do
Amen.
it.
And, you know, when David says that, I believe he says the mayor of all people and stuff. I believe he really means that. A lot of guys say that. They're full of crap. I really believe he means that. And I also, today I had to go get a scan for my melanoma cancer. I got stage 4 prostate, stage 3 melanoma, and I'm sitting there nervous. I text Dave. He did a prayer for me before I went in. So I guess your prayer worked. I'm all worried and stuff. So I came back.
Well,
I'm like, I get all nervous. I'm like texting him. I'm like,
well, I do that because I had a best friend that got cancer, and I prayed with her and over her, and the cancer was gone. She was cured. And so God has given me an opportunity to have a special way with him. And I pray for us as people that we got to come together. We can't be separate no more, because this is about good and evil. And the evil is coming after God's people, man. And I don't care what color you are. If you're a Christian, you believe in Christ, you believe in God, you believe in this country, and you believe in the Constitution. That makes us brothers and sisters. And so we all bleed red. And I'm telling you, we're the last stand, because the evil that we see, if white Americans and black Americans don't step up to the plate and start meshing and be just like me and you, Terry, we don't see no color with each other. We just see and that's how we got to be right now, because if we don't do that, our children don't have a chance, because that's why they attack the schools. That's why they don't want prayer in the schools. That's why they don't want nothing to do with God in the schools, and they got all the other stuff in. So
that's why we're doing this. That's why we're doing this. All of us.
Yeah. It's about the future, man, because, we got a little bit of time left. But I'm 67.
Yeah, he looks great for 67. Damn. Look at that shit,
You're
man.
67?
So, 67, man. Yeah. So those who
Black
are out
people
here,
don't age, I swear. you look good, man.
Those who are out here, we have to make sure before we leave that our children have a future, and that's why.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm doing this, man.
Here, man.
Yep.
At Pastor Lowry, that's how we met. That's why we're doing this now. I mean, it was about the kids at the beginning. It still is, to be honest.
I'm at war with these bastards, man. I'm gonna fight every front, man. I know all of us are.
I just think like my kids deserve to grow up in a country similar to the one that I grew up in.
Yes.
Free to make their own choices, free to not have, the elites take all their wealth from them, and free to have an opportunity to be, an American of old.
But I'm telling parents they need to start teaching their children. Take some time out, because mine did.
Amen.
They've got to teach your children about what's happening today, and that way they'll stay open to you, because they're teaching your kid to hate you in school, and that's not good, man. So we got to get President Trump back into office. We got to make sure that knee pad Harris stays out of office. If we're planning for our children to have a future in this country, then we got to have Trump in 2024, brother.
Hey, one last thing again. I keep saying this is it and we're done. So we got the DNC convention up, right? So we got another number of people from your community that are going to go there. We got to get people to show up to represent our side, right? To say we're done with this bullshit. We're going to have the anarchists, the Hamas weasels, like 3 of us could take on like 25 of them. Not that we need to or want to, but we need to come back strong and show the DNC that we're fed up with their bullshit, especially the city of Chicago. It doesn't matter what race you are. We're tired of their bullshits and lies, right? And we got to let them know that,
Well, we to the people across the state who are sick and tired of being sick and tired of the foolishness that we're seeing, if you can make it to that convention, come out, and everything is peaceful. See, it'll be peaceful until Antifa get out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then, because I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen, man.
It's always the case.
More people arrested, so they're going to try to start. But we're going to keep our cool, Terry.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you on my show next week.
David, the night before, I'm going to go to White Castle's, eat like one of those big old packs. I'm just going to fart over like 100 Antifas.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, with those White Castles.
I can do that too, man.
I mean, those guys are white, pasty white, pencil neck peckerheads that live in the basement of their parents. I don't know why people are not just
getting paid.
We can't let them control our country. We
paid.
can't let them scare people from showing up to support Donald Trump. I would go out back when I would go. They would drive by and they throw coffees on people and stuff. we got to hold them accountable. We got to.
We're gonna be out there. It's gonna be peaceful, and we want our numbers and be able to say what we're
That's
gonna
the
say.
pastor in you. Screw that, man.
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying you guys. I'm not saying you guys won't be peaceful. When you say it'll be peaceful,
Yeah.
Look what happened in
You
60
can count on it. You can almost count on something.
I am going to be very peaceful.
You can count on it as right. Like they're going to stir up they're going to stir up some stuff. You know they are.
I'm going to take some of those Joe Biden drugs before I go out there that day.
Oh man, then you ain't gonna feel nothing. I'm gonna have to come get you. I'm gonna have to put my John Wick costume on and come out there and get
you. These 60-something-year-old guys.
Hey, thank you for joining tonight, man. I love you.
Hey, man, I love it, man. We got folks. Y'all can find me at tecntv.com Monday through Friday. You can also find me at rumble.com, David Lowe 1057. You have to put it in because they doing things to keep me off the air. And you can find me on X at David Lowry Jr. 1. That's one account. At David Lowry Jr. is the second account. Y'all come subscribe, man. We putting a lot of good stuff out there, man. I love you guys, man. Let's keep it going because we're all we got left, man.
Thanks
God bless y'all. God bless
Pastor
America.
Lowry.
Thank you, Bubba.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. Peace.
Hey,
Thank you.
Talk to you again soon.
Bye.
No doubt.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That was
And you know
good.
what? I mean, I like him a lot. I wish him the best when he runs. I'm going to do whatever I can to help him for whatever that means when he runs for mayor.
I mean, 3 million
gotta fight
views.
against the machine.
3 million views is a big deal.
So, people, I hope in the next few months we're going to have some pretty cool stuff coming up. We're going to have
Do we have the Trump Lincoln dinner graphic?
Yeah. Oh, on August 15th, we're going to have one of the Apprentice folks from Trump, and then she actually worked on his campaign. She's got a book out now, and I forgot her name. Judith, I forgot her name. I was so I feel like I got a bad memory. I got I see my head and all the hits and
I'm not
all the
making
stuff I did in the
excuses for you.
80s, the 90s, the motorcycle acts. I can't remember nothing. I don't even know his name.
He said he was all geared up today. I didn't believe him, but man.
Yeah, no, it's like we got to fight for.
You got a few Hail Marys
between now and the
some
election,
F-bombs
right?
in there, and
people are excited. We got to get people motivated to support Trump. And if he loses, our country's in trouble. So you guys got to get involved. You got to help. You don't have to go out and be on the front line or do this stuff, but help people get elected. Help. I know we got a bunch of slugs in Illinois, the GOP. Sorry, but.
Well, things are turning around there. It's taking a little bit of time, but
next election. But Trump is going to do really good this time. He will. He's going to do awesome.
There's our event coming up October 17th. Lincoln Trump dinner.
And we're having our event the same night as the DGTRO that we're both members of. And we let those slugs have their event somewhere else. We're going to have ours. Ours is going to be fun. It's not going to be like a fancy thing. It's for grassroots, blue-collar folks. We're going to have a great DJ, Anthony. We're going to have great speakers. We're going to have sponsors. And so we hope you come to our event instead of going to the establishment slug backstabbing DGTRO scumbags.
Oh, what's the point of going to that? They're not going to win anything.
They're scumbags.
Just real quick, the Illinois GOP establishment still trying to hang on for dear life. And I guess the point I would make is now all of a sudden they're, defending Trump and for Trump and all. So it's too late.
We had to twist their arm to put a sign in the front window.
Get out of here. It's just, I'm talking about the Illinois GOP as a whole. It's like, yeah, now, now you're gonna trick it. It's over. It's over.
Mendrix, you're going to have a primary person running against you in the primary. Curran, you're going to have somebody running against you in the primary. You guys are scum, and you're done. Later.
Express. Choo choo.
I like that.
Did that play a little bit or no?
Here we go.
Oh, put it on there. Can you put it on there?
What do we say when people want to get to know us better? All aboard. Welcome to the Hot Mess Express. Choo choo.
Did everyone see that? Awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Fat piece of shit.